Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, with my lovely co-host,
Krystal.
Today it is an honor and privilege to have my friend back on the show, Mr. Phil Anselmo. And if you don't know who he's fronted here in the last couple years, then you're living under a rock. So, Mr. Pantera, Illegals, Down, Superjoint, Scour. He's done a lot of awesome stuff. Plus, he's got Housecore Records. He's doing some horror stuff. It's great to have him on here. We're going to be talking about The Illegals' new album coming out, Mental Illness as a Virtue, out January 26th on Phil's record label, Housecore Records. And I've always been impressed with Phil ever since I've seen him with Pantera. And Pantera has made a big impact on my life, and so has Phil. So without further ado, how's it going, Mr. Phil?
What's happening, Bodfather?
It's always a privilege to have you on.
And how you doing, Krystal?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Nice to be back, sir. How you been, man?
Been doing really good. Been keeping up with you, what you've been doing and everything. And I said, it wouldn't surprise me if Philip Anselmo wouldn't come out with a heavy country CD because he's done everything else under the moon. So there you go.
God. No, it's interesting that you bring that up because it always seems to lead here. I don't know why, but the next record that I got coming out it's not a country record, but it's a different style of record than I've done in the last, as a whole. If you look at the whole band, it's probably the most different band I've done in 30 years. Wow. And I've only been around for 30 years, so it's kind of freaking different, man. So that'll be interesting. And look, let me correct you on one thing there, Bodfather.
Okay.
The name of my new record from, get this, Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals is Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue.
That's right, I left out the choosing.
You left one word out there, you crazy wild man, you.
I did, I left out choosing, and it's right here in front of me. That's pretty bad.
It happens to the worst of us, and you're talking to one.
All right, before we get into this a little bit further, Krystal does a mean Philip H. Anselmo impersonation because she loves doing this when we're on here doing interviews and stuff, and she does it out of respect, and she knocks it out of the ballpark. So we're going to let her do that for you here right fast if you don't care.
I don't. I love it.
Hey, this is fucking Phil Anselmo.
Is that what I really sound like?
Probably not. I don't know why. I just feel like you should always announce yourself as fucking Phil Anselmo.
Yeah.
fucking Phil Anselmo. I guess people like that side of me when I'm loose as a goose, so to speak. But I'm easy like Sunday morning right now. I'm in a chilled out mood, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. I love this year the fact that we actually have this shit called a season, for God's sake. Because I remember last year about this time, it was about 80 freaking degrees, and hot as hell, obviously, with 90% humidity. And right now, it's about 40-something outside, crystal clear. And I'm loving it. I ain't going to lie. And you know what else I really enjoyed this year was the very surprising New Orleans Saints season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Crazy.
Very surprising. And I got to say, this is a whole nother topic, I'm sure. But this was the best draft class we've ever had under the Peyton regime. Well, it really is. It's better than 2006.
My team got in this year, but I hate the division at the end because they're always fighting with the Patriots. I'm a Steelers fan. I know everybody can.
Let me tell you what, Dave. Right there, that's, to me, in the AFC, that is the only team that has a damn chance at dethroning these damned Patriots, because I'm going to tell you what.
I hope so.
In the NFC, it looks like all roads lead through Minnesota. And that's because of an efficient offense, actually a very more than efficient offense with explosive playmakers and a very good defense. But I still just don't see them in the big game beating the Patriots. Now, if the Steelers can get over that hump, and I do mean the AFC Championship, because they're not. Who do the Steelers have to play? Do they get the week off?
Yeah, they got to buy the first round, and they're right back in it.
So you're waiting on the outcomes of the wild card, correct?
Right, exactly. Right. See, they got screwed when they played the Patriots the last time. He was close. See, who was it? James. I can't think of it. Jesse James. He was in. That was a touchdown.
That was a very dubious call. And if I was a Steelers fan, I would be furious.
Oh,
however, I would also know in my heart very much how I felt after the Saints lost to the Falcons the first time, that when we lost that game, I knew that when they were coming to the Dome, their ass was ours. I knew it. It was a done deal. And to me, Steelers fans ought to look at it that way, that in their hearts, despite this season, that heartbreaking loss and that very dubious call, I remember the play that you're talking about. Jesse James, what's a catch, what isn't a catch?
Mm-hmm.
Did he cross the goal line with the nose of the ball?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, did he?
Yeah, he was fully across it, man. I mean, half his damn body was.
Say. They're talking about what? The catch itself, correct?
Yeah. They're trying to say that he bobbled it, but he did, Phil, but he had possession of the ball, though. He had it. That's the thing.
Which means touchdown.
Exactamundo.
Exactly. Possession, cross the line, done deal. The ball can be jarred free after that.
Yeah.
Just like, if you remember the Saints' 2-point conversion in the Super Bowl, how they called that an incomplete pass until review, and it showed absolute possession, crossed the line, and then the guy kicked it out. It's kind of the same thing to me. It's like, whoa, what's the difference?
Here's what
in my heart, look, I don't think any other team in the AFC beats the Steelers, and I think the Steelers should be going into this game confident, and I would go for the throat. I would try and I'm rooting for the Steelers. I'm sick of New England.
I am too.
I am. I'm sick of them because honestly, Steelers Vikings is a better game.
I agree.
In general, I think.
Here's another thing that the Steelers are going to have extra added pissing off for them, is James Harrison left the Steelers, man, and signed with New England.
Hold on 1 second, brother. Yo, man, I'm doing an interview. I'll be out in a minute. Kevin Bond from Superjoint and Minor just walked through the door.
Well, hello.
Hello there, Kevin. All right. Anyway, go ahead. What, James Harrison, what about him?
Yeah, James Harrison left the Steelers and signed with the Patriots just a couple weeks ago. And the only reason is because...
Oh, right.
And that's going to be an extra added for the Steelers, only because he didn't want to help J.J. Watt's brother, T.J. Watt. I mean, dude, come on.
He's playing out of his mind, right?
Yeah.
He's a hell of a player. He's a rookie, huh?
Yep, first year. So,
what does he play, outside linebacker, DE?
Yeah, he's a linebacker. Yep, he sure is.
Yeah. I've seen him make some plays, man. He's a hustler, no doubt about it. And y'all have had the luck of health, which Honestly, that's going to doom my Saints. It's like we're down to 2 starting linebackers that, it's like I love Craig Robertson. He's a underrated, underappreciated weak side linebacker. Incredible year. Great year for this guy. And Manti Te'o, look, he's not a spectacular player, but for me and for my eyes, he's definitely more of a pleasant surprise than I initially ever expected, because I just thought he was a pretty average player when he was in San Diego. So he's very good against the run. He's I give him a C- at best in coverage, but that's all. Yeah, Robertson is way better in coverage, but still, with our starting guys out, Klein and really just A.J. Klein, a middle linebacker where Teo's playing. Klein does have side-to-side speed, but he's been slowed up all year with injuries, and now he's on IR. So, and Vaccaro's on IR, but we've got the rookie Marcus Williams playing very well, out of his mind, really, along with Lattimore at cornerback, who's really you're talking to a guy who's watched Tracy Porter, Malcolm Jenkins, both drafted at cornerback by the Saints, develop in their rookie years, and they would get killed, man, burned, destroyed on plays until like year 3 or 4, like that. What's happening, brother? And, to see Lattimore come straight out of college, Ohio State, and come away with the regular season with 5 interceptions and play as well as he has played and be a Super Bowl, a Pro Bowl pick, that's pretty unbelievable for the NFL. For a DB to play that well. Yeah. It's especially for the Saints.
I've always thought the Saints had awesome teams every year, but that's just me, though. They normally compete every year, and they're always just about in the playoffs, just about every single year.
Yeah, well, we had back-to-back 7-9 seasons leading up to this season, so it was a pleasing season. We lost our first 2 games, and it was like, oh my God, we looked terrible. But come to find out, we lost to Minnesota, and look at where Minnesota is.
Yep.
And we lost to New England, and look at who New England is and where they are, And then after that, we rattled off 8 in a row, and somehow we've managed to throttle the Carolina Panthers twice. And if you listen to announcers on TV, and if you look at their record, they seem to be like one of the most feared teams in the league, and we kicked their ass.
It's going to be interesting.
I think it's going to be a different game. Let me tell you what. We have to play them this Sunday. I think that to beat the same team 3 times in one season in the NFL is a very tough ask of any team. I wouldn't be surprised either way if we won the game or if we lost the game, one way or the other, whether it's an ass-kicking or a close overtime loss. I can see it both ways. I think the injuries have mounted for us. I think we're as good as we're going to get. Our offense is really our weakest link right now. Defense has done its job this season. I've said it more. Every game we've watched, I've always announced over and over again, the defense has done its job. And then I've watched the offense come out and either go 3 and out or chew up the clock, march all the way down the field and turn the damn ball over, or shank a field goal, or while they're in field goal range, eat a sack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's something. Come away with nothing after a long drive, and it puts the defense right back on the field. So that, to me, points fundamentally. And look, overviewing it and wrapping this up, I know we're chewing up clock here.
Oh, you're fine.
Talking about, we're better than ESPN right now.
We are.
But honestly, no, but seriously, our offense is entirely this year, besides the work of our offensive line, which has been exemplary, I would say, it's been Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and Michael Thomas, and a few other players here and there. There's the few plays to Kobe Flannery before he got put on IR. There's the few plays to Ted Ginn Jr. here and there. There's the few plays to Brandon Coleman, all 6'6" of him, wide receiver that nobody knows about. You know, it's like he's great at downfield blocking, but at 6'6", the dude ought to be a dangerous red zone target, and he is not.
Yeah, like Calvin Johnson.
We got another wide receiver who was our second leading receiver last year in Willie Snead, and he got busted for drunk driving during the off season, and he's been in our coach's doghouse all freaking season, and he's been on the field, and despite catching a handful of rocks, he's a non-factor really in our offense. So our entire offense is Drew Brees, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver.
It's going to be interesting.
Pretty one-dimensional.
That's for sure. It'll definitely be an interesting playoff.
But hey, did anyone know anything or say anything about this 3rd-round pick, Alvin Kamara, before the draft?
No, not that I know of, no.
Well, they should have been. Because I'm telling you right now, from a guy who watched it happen and studies the game, Alvin Kamara is better than Reggie Bush was in his rookie year. Hands down.
You can find a lot of good picks, man, in the draft, and no-namers. I mean, and I'm not saying it disrespectfully, but I'm just saying, you know, you can come from...
No, like Marcus Colston.
Yeah, for sure. Come from a small... Like Jerry Rice, he came from a really small college. And look...
For NFLers with those kind of stories are amazing stories.
Yes,
Pierre
sir.
Thomas.
Yeah.
What a player he was, it turned out to be for the Saints.
Yep.
Still one of our best, different, strong, shifty, screen pass runners in the history of the game, man. Just really just amazing, the cohesiveness he had between Drew Brees and following the O-line. Great vision. Incredible vision. I remember very well because that year we drafted in the final round of whatever we had. I think it was the 4th round for some reason. It was our final draft pick, or maybe it was the 6th round. But we got Antonio Pittman, if I'm correct, at running back. And Pierre Thomas came in undrafted and beat him out during the preseason. I watched it happen, and he did it with passion and extra effort and really earned the spot and went on to be one of the greatest Saints of all time.
Yep. All right, so let's kick into the questionnaire here. I can sit and talk football with you all day long, man, but...
Hell yeah.
What's impressed or excited you the most about making the No Legals album, choosing mental illness as a virtue? Has anything caught your eye about it, Phil? Because I know you do a lot of these albums, but anything about this album special catches your eye about it?
Well, I'll say that first and foremost, this album is old for me, new for you. So it's like really old for me in a lot of aspects, as a lot of these riffs were originally written in 1996, 97, some of them. And I've been sitting on them for so long. It's like, God damn, what's going to be, the proper setting, what band, when are these riffs going to be properly used? So, this opportunity came, we used them, and of course, along with writing new stuff, that to me was a super cool part, because really opened a new chapter between me and guitar player Steve Taylor. Steve Taylor is a special musician, and before I go too far about him, through him and through everybody else, I also got to know Mike DeLeon and Walter Howard as well, because they are in the Illegals and they are new blood, but I've known them for two, three, going on 3 years, maybe a little more now. And we've jammed together on several different occasions, and they're great guys. And they were automatic contributors, which is, I love it. I love the spirit of it. I love the youth. I love the energy. I love the excitement to, present it to me with enthusiasm, and I love that. It keeps me young. It keeps me on my toes, man. So those guys are fucking awesome in that respect. But Steve Taylor, man, is a very, very talented musician in general. And he's a jack of all trades, because he's also a gigantic part of N minor, huge part of N minor. But more importantly, and back to point, with the Illegals, he's the type of dude who gets where my mind is. He gets the substance of what's going on, and then just he gets the assignment, so to speak, and he contributes right away. He's like I say, he's a special talent, and he's a super cool motherfucker, man. Just really down to earth, very easy to be with, and I can't compliment the fella much further without sounding too ridiculous, but he's great, man. And getting to know him better, getting to work with him, and getting to work with this young blood, this fucking fiery young fucking blood with attitude, it was a great experience.
How do you manage to juggle all the different projects that you're involved in?
He's got thousands.
That is the $1 million question. Although it's not worth but a quarter or so, or barely a penny. I don't. It's tough, but thank goodness we are all free agents. Everybody that's in any band I'm in at this stage of the game is in several bands themselves. We are all people made up of other bands, and there is a common and well-known respect for each other's projects and opportunities, because if let's be honest, Jimmy, being the guitar player in I Hate God, it's like, they're going to get tour offers. Jim's going to be busy with I Hate God, as he freaking should be. I Hate God is their own institution. They've got their own fan base. They've got a strong fan base, and they're a strong live band. So I personally encourage Jimmy, take those gigs, do that, and he's the similar way with me. It's like with these extreme bands like the Illegals and Scour and stuff like that. He's not a fan of the music at all, but he respects the fact that I've got, I take time and do gigs with other bands, so we encourage each other, man. So I guess it's a mutual understanding that there will be time made for each group depending upon opportunity and or demand eventually, because like I say, after I put out this N minor record, that's going to, I guess, throw a little different shade on the perception of, I guess it's just a different record that's going to come out that's just going to add a new and very different chapter to the old career. But, once again, I'm sitting on so much music that I've covered a lot of different ground that people have no idea about, and I don't even know how to, I guess, put a genre on some of the music that I've done in the past, because it's strange stuff. So, yeah, man, so it's like, that's even more juggling to come. So it's like, it's okay. Juggling bands is okay, because, there shall come a time, there shall come a place, these bands will play. And hey, if you happen to be there, if you happen to be in town, consider yourself part of something that is a rarity, because, it's like I can't be in 10 places at once, unless I do a Phil festival.
That'd be nice.
Where I sing like in 20 different bands, or play guitar in bands that I play guitar in, and then sing in every other band. But no, I would not do that, and I couldn't do it. It would have to be like, I could probably make it through like half the set, and someone would have to take over from there.
Are there any songs off the new Illegals album, Phil, that possibly stand out more to you on it right now? Maybe. I know you said you've sat on these for a long time, but I mean, are there any that stick out possibly more to you?
Not really, man. But like, I love like The Ignorant Point's a good one. It's got some super cool riffs. Yeah, man. Remind me some good old like Morbid Angel, Blessed Are the Sick era style riffs, or even the first, like what Christ Inversion became for when we were jamming back in '94. Just certain little things, old school shit that was touching my nerves back in the day. I'm sure I could expound on other songs, but between NFL talk and talking about Steve Taylor, I've chewed up like half the podcast. So I apologize. and once again, take it away there, Krystal.
You're fine, man. No, it's always a privilege to have you on here, dude. So don't worry about that. It's fine.
Oh man, it's shit, man. It's my privilege, sir.
How much musical growth do you feel like you've gone through since the beginning of your career?
Oh man, I'm growing all the time. Matter of fact, I just came to the realization that right now I'm not really into anything specific. This is like a weird pause right now. Like I don't listen to anything, like I say, specifically. If anything, I've gone to out of want in the past few months has been Chicago and the James Gang.
Yeah, old school stuff.
And then I just go to my ambient playlist, and that could be anything from old symphonies, various symphonies, from Mozart, Bach, etc., to George Butgeright's necromantic soundtracks. Those are old gore flicks from the 90s. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, but anyway, they had these old German, like really raw fucking porn, horror, gore flicks called the Necromantic Movies, part 1 and 2, and the soundtracks are very powerful. So I've been listening to those soundtracks, and this cat Luigi Russolo, who is really, I guess, known. He's like from the early 1900s, and I guess he's known for a few things. He's known for being the first noise and experimental type of music during that contemporary time. Like he had an orchestra that is listening to him is like, you can tell they are the equivalent to the next door neighbor's garage band, so to speak, of the 90s. Mm-hmm. It's like it's this really poor orchestra, and then you hear this big vacuumy sound, and the song is labeled, like wind machine or rain machine and this and that. So he's using all these different crazy sounds, and he does these bizarre operettas and whatnot, and it's crazy to listen to. But other than that, he's also known for, I think, making the original model for what would be known today as the standard amp cabinet, guitar cabinet, so to speak. So he really came up with the cabinet style speakers. So he's an inventor of many different things, and is once again, listening to his music is cool to write lyrics to. I've been writing a lot of new lyrics for a lot of all my different projects. So just, I guess, just going through a reflective kind of backdrop music period of reflection. And I find I was thinking about talking about this new Illegals record in particular. I was just like, gosh, that's just where my mind was for that specific period in my life. And it's just, it's bizarre how records document chapters of life. It's interesting. And plus, even the N minor record coming out, and I got another death metal project I did back in 2014, 15 that I've been sitting on. It's been finished for so long, man, and it's fun, weird death metal, just for the fun of it. Fuck, man. But I expect to do a lot of different musical exploration with, I guess, with the next onrush of years. I'm going to do a bunch of different styles, a bunch of different feels. And man, speaking of that, even within minor, I'm putting out the first record's going to be Back to the Hill, with songs. I mean, there's going to be almost 16. I think there's just like 16 songs on the first record. So I'm brimming with that type of material. And we're like, God, man, we got enough easily almost for 3 records of this stuff, man.
Jeez.
So I'm sitting on so much music, and you know what? It feels great.
That's awesome.
And by the way, I got a new Scour song sent to me last night. So there's movement everywhere. I love it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's no stoppage of music with this man, folks. He's always doing something, which is pretty cool, and that's what I like about him. This is cool, too. This record for the Illegals, a new one, was recorded at, of course, your Housecore Records. Phil, do you like this side of producing your own albums and stuff, man? Do you like this part?
Yeah, you know, when I invest the time with a band and we make a record together, it's always bonding. It's always getting to know each other on a deeper level than you would from, say, just this long distance type relationship where like, there's a band from Italy called SYK that I put their records out because they're awesome and they're an incredible band, but I have never had the opportunity to work in the studio with them. And for me, it's like they're the type of band that I really wouldn't want to mess with or bother or suggest too terribly much because they're fine. They don't need me. They don't need me at all. You know, I mean, we my engineer got those tracks. We did what we did with it. They sent us back. We did a little, I guess we would call like email notes back and forth, you know, here and there, and that was that. They had tracked everything themselves and done all the performances, and it was amazing stuff. But I had not been in the same room as them physically. And when you do something like that, depending on the size, depending on what's asked of you, you know, because there's sometimes where, you know, you're writing songs from the ground up, and then there's sometimes where you're with a band that's very familiar with what they want to do, and really, I guess they're looking for finer edges or wrapping things up in a tighter bow, so to speak. You know, finer points instead of entire songs from the ground up type things. You know, so the jobs are different. So that's always interesting as well. So I thought, yes, I do enjoy, to answer your question, yes, I do. I love that part of the job, and it's very intricate, but it's a blast, honestly.
What do you think about the way that the music industry has changed in everything from the way that people record to the way that people distribute music and promoting via social media, things like that?
You know, my answer to that is there's nothing that can be rectified or fixed or changed. So you may as well just be who you are, do what you do, believe in what you believe in, put your fucking money where your fucking mouth is, and just trudge forward. Because, you know, for me, my strong point is laying back, making the music, and then doing shit like this, talking to people like y'all, and getting up on stage and screaming into a microphone. You know, social media is going to do what it does. Bloggers are going to blog everything from flat news that is either newsworthy or something in between, just to chew up clock, or they're going to write something deep and conspiratorial, and, you get it all. You get it all. It is the wild world of the internet. And like I told my partner last night, I said, you know what? And it's true. The internet is the new God.
Yeah.
It's like if it went out tomorrow, everybody would act like fucking an earthquake happened or something.
Oh, people would kill themselves.
Like how did we exist before this incredible invention? It's like, Come on, man. I remember doing it. If I can still remember doing it, it's like, man, well, Plus, I'm the type of guy who goes to a football website and a boxing website. I can make it, I think.
And, I used to, when I was a kid, I'd go buy Circus magazines or Hit Parader.
You're damn right you would. You'd have to get up and buy your favorite record, too.
I still do. I still buy stuff, man.
Good. Good man.
I do buy digital, don't get me wrong. But if I have the choice to have the physical copy, I want the damn physical copy. That's me.
And that's why we still make them for people like you. And that's why I still put out vinyl.
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do. And, I'm not the type of dude that's going to have some giant, huge roster of bands. And look, honestly, if we weren't so DIY, there's a handful of bands out there that I would love to at least facilitate and put out their stuff, But there's only so much attention that I can lend. Like, there's bands out there that I wouldn't have to do a damn thing except really slap my name on and put on some advertising and stuff like that and whatnot, and they'd be good to go all by themselves. I mean, they make their own records, they create their own physical product. It's all I would have to do is facilitate, and that's something I might do here in the future. But right now, it's like I gotta concentrate on a few things, like not to get into too much detail right here, but I have to have a physical a procedure done, a surgical procedure done. It's nothing catastrophic. It's no giant thing. It's just more of a cleanup thing, and it's actually going to be for the better. Obviously, I mean, you don't have surgery for the worse. So really, it's for the better, and the recovery time is really brief. So I mention this because if there's any setbacks or if there's any cloud of curiousness or doubt that surrounds upcoming shows or tours like that, it's because I'm kind of playing the waiting game with the doctors. It's like once you're cleared for surgery, then you kind of get put on a list, and so I'm playing the waiting game from between now and March. So that also, one thing I want to put out there is that doesn't mean everything screeches to a halt either. Right. I could do a show tomorrow if I wanted to. So it's just it's more of a thing that is just gonna make life a little bit easier and make a better me. Shit, man, I can't wait, honestly. So just to get this out of the way so I can get back to work, man. So, yeah, so, that's part of the year. That's part of that's on the docket, so I can't ignore it. So, just to put that out there. So really, it's a good thing I've got all this music to put out there just in case, man. I get sidelined, but I don't think I'll be sidelined for too long.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's just something simple and get you back out there.
It is. It really is. It's just a short process.
Support-wise, is there a country that stands out or surprises you to this day that you still get support from? Is there anyone that shocks you or says, wow, man, I still can't believe we are still getting support from that area?
I think that the fact that I'm still getting support in general is shocking, is amazing, is something that I try and express to every fan that comes up to me and says, Phil, I know you hear this a million times, and they always start like that. But it doesn't matter, it's like, it really doesn't matter. It's like, just tell me what you're going to tell me, because it's going to mean something to me, because things do mean something to me. When people tell me, hey, man, thanks for this or that, or thanks for the music, they have no idea, man. I'm letting you know right now, it means the world to me. That's the payoff. That's the thank you. That's what means everything in this world. Mm-hmm. And when you get that kind of support from anywhere, man, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It's pretty overwhelming, man. And I do absolutely 1,000,000%. I think I wear it on my sleeve, but I have nothing but love in my heart. And this is the truth, man. And this is what probably gets me in trouble, man. It's the love on my damn heart, man. Because I'm an honest cat, and, I got a crazy freaking sense of humor and all this shit, man. But fucking honestly, to have the type of love I have in my heart, and to feel the groundswell of support that I get is just, it's pretty stunning, man. And I just, oh God, it's overwhelming, man, really. It really is, man. Because like I say, man, I'm a laid-back dude, man. I'm pushing 50 here this year, man. So wow. It's like I'm in my soaking it up years, just having fun. I'm a free agent, man, and feeling every bit of this free agency of shit. I can make any kind of fucking music I want to make, phase of my life, and goddamn, any support I get is just, it's the best praise that it's the best feeling you could possibly have. And I like to remind everybody, anyone that supports me and anyone that likes the music that I make or whatever, every record's going to be different. Each band is different, and to each his own. So even if you like one of my 500 bands, I always like to say that the musician doesn't choose the fan. It's the other way around, man. It's the fan that chooses the band.
Exactly.
So it works both ways, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's like you've told me multiple times that I've got to talk to you, this makes your 4th or 5th time on the show, that you've always told me, John, I'm an open book, ask me anything. To me, when a musician tells you that, they are worried about their fans. They want the fans to come to them and ask them anything. They don't want to be this person that stands behind a door or hides. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really cool about you. So kudos to you, my friend.
Well, it's different, because I know that in the music world, there's a power and mystique and image and this front and this, like I say, the mystique of it all. Count me in the anti-mystique category, man. I'm pretty raw and rough around the edges, but I try and have a little bit of charm here and there,
You do.
For the kids. For the kids.
Yeah, you gotta call it and
for the chicks.
Yeah.
You know, all my 50-year-old chicks.
And for all those people out there that smoke the old hippie lettuce.
You damn straight. More power to 'em.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've always been an advocate of the old wacky tobacco.
That's why I love Phil, I swear.
You should. And I love you too.
I do, brother. I do. I support you every single fucking day. There's no doubt about that. You can ask Krystal about that.
We
Damn
both love
straight,
you.
brother.
Go ahead, Krystal.
Thank you, Krystal. I love you too, sweetie.
Aww.
Go ahead.
See, it's easy, and it feels good
Yeah.
to say I love you, and there ain't nothing wrong with it, man. I'm all about it. Shit.
Yeah, I've lost too many friends to not tell them no more. You know, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, man. It's like it's tough holding a grudge. You know, it really is, and it doesn't feel good. So it's obviously unhealthy. So it's like I would rather not give negative people the time of day and just look for the good people, you know, look for
Sure.
the good in people. And, you know, I think it's pretty simple enough. You're going to find it, you know, it's out there. And I'll be honest, man, I could go to the doctor's office and run into 3 people and come away with 3 separate positive encounters that are, you know, if I think about them, you know, I can chuckle about it, you know, and laugh about something I said or something someone else said or how they reacted to this, that, the other. And people just want to get on with their day and live their lives. But hey, man, if you can crack them up along the way or some shit like that, lighten up the day for them a little bit, it's a good day's work.
Are there any horror movies that you're looking forward to seeing this year?
I guess I've been sitting on, and I don't want to hear a damn thing about it if you've already seen it, because you probably have, and I'm a late bloomer, and I'm trying not to hear it's great too much, because when that happens, I get overhyped for a movie, and I'll end up watching it, and I am severely let down because, oh my God, if I am a snobby prick motherfucker about anything, it is my horror films. And
yes, sir.
Because I do have impeccable standards depending on the assignment. Therefore, I am keeping a very open mind whilst going in to see a film called Mother. And other than that, I guess I've heard like brief rumblings here and there about this, that, the other, but it's nothing memorable. But I am wide open to suggestion here. I really am. If someone can steer me to something that is worthy, then please do, because I'll tell you this, and I won't spoil it, I won't ruin it for anyone, and I'll probably get a lot of people that disagree with me here if they've seen it, but I've watched, and I was looking forward to this very much, and I watched this season's Black Mirror.
Okay.
And I thought the Netflix show Black Mirror was probably one of the best modern shows of its ilk. And this is high praise, since like the Twilight Zone. And I'll tell you right now, Rod Serling is one of my favorites of all time on many levels. His style, his writing. I read a lot of his books, and people don't even know that he also wrote books. And Rod Serling, for me, as far as what he brought to television and storytelling on television, the Twilight Zone brought out, horror, science fiction, morality, morality of the time, when these films were made, post-World War II, of views of humanity, and always the moral tale with Serling, the moral quandary. But and so going back to Black Mirror, for me to give this show that kind of praise, I am heaping huge amounts of praise upon the first 3 seasons. Now, have you watched any of the old Black Mirror?
No, not actually.
You should. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. If you are a fan of Twilight Zone or anything like that,
yeah,
for a modern show, I would say even the opening episode of season 1 is such a statement, is such a hardcore statement, man, that it really drags you in from that point out. And I will say, out of all 3 seasons, there's only one I can think of, one episode I can think of that really didn't hit home for me. That, it was fair. And the others, pretty freaking incredible. Twists and turns, plots thicker than whatever, and it's always, like the Twilight Zone, a peek into tomorrow, hence the Black Mirror. And it's daunting, it's challenging, it's scary, it's a different kind of scary. I give it high props and high praise. But, and it was coming.
Yeah.
It was coming out of this long ramble, as usual. I will give this new season, and this is a knee-jerk reaction, this is upon watching one time, but an overall, I'm just going to give it a begrudging C+, and that's being pretty fair about it, I think. So, I don't know where that leaves you as far as your thoughts on the matter, because you have not seen Black Mirror, but I would think if you like horror flicks, correct?
Sure, yeah. God, yes.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm not saying this is a pure horror show. It's absolutely sci-fi. But there is a definite dark psychological factor twisted and interwoven in every single story. And I suggest, and I would, do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Well, I would start tonight with season 1, episode 1, and work your way through it. Don't start at season 4. Don't start at season 3. Start from the very beginning. It's not a running story. Each episode is its own story. So it's not like you have to follow anything, but I'm just saying to get a feel for how good this goddamn show is, then go into season 4 and go, oh, I see what he means. You'll catch my vibe.
What about the new Halloween that is coming out this year?
This is the first I've heard of it. What's going on with that?
They actually are doing another Halloween, but John Carpenter is involved with this one.
He must be going broke.
Possibly.
They got Jamie Lee Curtis back, too.
Yeah, Jamie Lee's going to be back in it.
She must be going broke.
Activia can't pay the bills.
Oh.
If anybody thinks the illegals are paying the bills, I got some land in Hoboken for you.
See, I thought, now correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that was it maybe H2O or the one before that? No, H2O might have been after. But I had thought that Michael had actually killed off his sister because she had fell from the roof when he stabbed her. I had thought. I could be wrong. But
well, you know that in the world of reboots, remakes, and chapter filling in these Halloween and Friday the 13th-esque films and Freddy Krueger-esque sequel, prequel, remake, reboot, whatever we have coming up next on the docket, she probably bounced off of a trampoline that we didn't see on the ground and landed perfectly in the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Safely. But we missed that.
I mean, she's got psycho in her blood, so she could probably, you'd have to shoot her in the head or set her on fire to really kill her, right?
Yeah.
I don't, has it killed Michael?
No. I mean, what the hell is he going to be in a hut?
Now, hey, Krystal, correct?
Yes.
You brought up an interesting plot twist. You do realize that, don't you?
Yeah.
If she found out she was invincible because she, too, has the Sam Hain hex upon her blood, her tainted bloodline, let's go get rich. Let's write the next Halloween. Let's join up. Let's write a script.
Let's do that.
I think we just did.
What the hell is Michael going to drive around in a hover around with a knife? Who'll come back? I mean,
figuring the Halloween franchise is older than Pantera. I mean, you got to figure at this point, if we did do a reunion, I would have to sing Respect Walker, and I'd have to, be out there with a walker. You'd figure Michael Myers might have aged a couple of years. He might be hitting a wall.
That's funny. That's awesome.
I hope he's got insurance. He's taking a beating. He might be going through some chronic pain by now.
Folks, get out and pick up the Illegals album that's out January 26th, Choosing Mental Illness as a Virtue. Phil has always put out great albums, in my opinion, and as a fan, I've told you this a million times. Thank you so much, man, for making a huge impact on my life from Pantera all the way up to what you're doing now. There's not a day that I don't go without listening to Pantera. There's no way. It's my ritual. So thank you from a huge fan, my good friend.
Brother, anytime, anywhere, you're always a pleasure to talk to. Easy to talk to, and I think it makes for a more interesting, looser conversation, like that, instead of so formal, so regular, so uptight, and like I said, did I say formal already?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, formal. Krystal, do you hear me?
Yes.
Just making sure.
I think she's just still
sure we got a pulse back there.
Yeah, I think she's just still in awe. Like it's Phil.
She's asleep.
Oh, she'll be wound up.
It's a little surreal for me. I'm a huge fan. I'm a fucking huge fan.
Oh, fucking huge fan.
Oh man, I just sing songs, man. That's all I do. I mean, if you think about it, The Happy Birthday song is a lot more famous than any song I've ever written, and you don't know who the hell wrote that song. Neither do I. I mean,
It's
think
true.
about it. If someone said, hey, we're interviewing the lady that wrote the Happy Birthday song, would you kind of be, I don't know, in awe or anything like that?
Nah, not me. Not for a happy
I'm
birthday
assuming
song.
that person's dead, so yeah.
That's true. See, another plot twist. Woman, you're onto something.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo, as always, for the show?
Nah, I'm going to hang up. Remind me the magic words, good sir. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
This is Philip H. Anselmo, and you are listening to the BODS Mayhem Hour. I added in the BODS just for a little bit of style.
It's fine by me. Everybody, stick around. We got some great, great music coming up. And you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour at Uber City Radio. For my lovely co-host,
Krystal.
we'll see you next time. Thanks, Phil.
Anything for y'all. Y'all be cool as shit. Krystal, plot
It's great
twist,
talking
baby.
to you, man.
Great talking to you. Remember the plot twist always, sugar. Think
Hell yeah.
about it. Be strong. Be smart. Bod,
Yep.
stay alert, buddy. Much love to you, man.
I love you too, man. Be safe out there.
Oh, shit. Easy going. Right back at you. Y'all be strong. Be safe. Be cute. And be sexy.
All righty, man. Take care.
All right, man. Be cool.